Hello?
What the man?
Hello?
I mean, what the
Who is this?
I mean, this is Doc.
Oh, shit. What's up, man?
What do you tell me?
I'm not following.
Le Batard does a whole show and doesn't even mention my name.
Wait, that's not true. I brought you up on Weekend Observations 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. You said I got fired. I did not get fired. I retired of my own volition. You're out here spreading inaccurate reports like Shams. Where's Loge when you need him?
I don't know. He probably shoveling snow or some shit. Look, what do you want me to do about it, man? It's not my fault you had a shitty season.
Yeah. It's not going to be Blake's fault when I whoop your ass.
Oh, easy, killer. Why don't you go hit up your son? You guys can wax poetic about how it's everyone else's fault you're out of a job.
Whoa. Do not lump me in with him.
You're right, man. That was a low blow. My bad. But seriously, what you want me to do?
Well, for starters, you can...
Hold on, Doc. I got someone on the other line. Hello?
Did you see that motherfucker got fired?
President Obama? How'd you get my number?
Man, I was talking to Michelle, Sasha, Malia, and we were cracking up about it, and Michelle said, you know who'd get a kick out of this? Me.
Well, I'm flattered, Mr. President, but I think he actually retired.
Hey, listen to me. He got fired. Now, some folks are silent. They want you to believe he retired.
Hold on, Mr. President. I think this is actually Doc on the other line. Hello?
Well,
Who is this?
it is me, Fibula, blah.
Oh, shit. What's up, Fibula?
Nothing. I'm just calling on behalf of my good friend, Doc Rivers, and I want you to know that he totally retired, completely under his own free will. Nobody, they actually tried to talk him out of retiring. He said, no, it's time for me to go. And, everything you hear about him getting fired, totally untrue.
Yeah, he called me too. I got you. We don't really have a relationship, Fibula, so I guess I got to go now.
Yeah, blah, I love you too.
What?
Right.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-ball. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls, and we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
I've told Amin that Fibula needs to be limited as a character. It cannot have long speaking roles. It has to be very quick. We have the biggest game in the Miami Heat season tonight. Don't make that face, Mike Ryan. The biggest game. You tell the Hornets tonight's not a big game. The Hornets never get to play games that are this important. Last time they did, they had a purple shirt guy, and we still remember him for wearing a purple shirt because Dwayne Wade embarrassed him. That's the biggest playoff moment Charlotte's ever had.
It's a big game for the Hornets, no doubt.
What a night that was. Oh, let's relive that. What a night 10 years ago. Purple shirt guy. Sit down.
Actually, it's not the biggest moment in Charlotte history, right? Alonzo Mourning hit a buzzer beater to win a playoff game, did he not? Was he not on the court?
Against the Celtics, Game 4, that is correct. 1994-ish, maybe?
It's like 20 some odd years ago.
Well,
like,
but they don't have any playoff memories. Like they've got Jamal Mashburn, but their playoff memories all involve the Heat. Jamal Mashburn, a former Heat player, that's their best playoff team ever, is it not?
When they killed us?
Yeah, when they killed the Anthony Mason, Alonzo Mourning team. Is that not the best Charlotte team there's ever been?
I drove down from school right to Miami Arena to go to that game. The Heat got killed. That was not a good experience.
I still ask the question again and again, though. Go ahead and name them. All the major moments in Charlotte basketball history, do they involve players that you more associate with the Miami Heat? Like Dwayne Wade in the purple shirt game, Jamal Mashburn, that playoff series, and Alonzo Mourning.
I think also when they were the Bobcats, Josh McRoberts had a really dirty foul on someone on the Heat in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Heat swept the Bobcats, and who can forget LeBron's 60-point game with the mask on. That came at the expense of the Charlotte Bobcats. Wow, two franchises tied together, Dan.
You mentioned Josh McRoberts. He was called here Josh McRobbed us because they signed him after he showed promise at the end of a season with Charlotte. They signed him and Danny Granger to keep LeBron James here.
Historically, this franchise does have a blind spot when it comes to some Duke guys.
And the Heat and Hornets entered the league together, so it really feels like all roads have led to this.
to a 9-10 play-in game?
Hey, put it on the poll. Have all roads for the Heat and Hornets led to this?
I thought the Orlando Magic and the Heat came in.
Nah, Magic were
was
the
it?
next year.
Was that with the T-Wolves?
Yeah.
Scotty Skiles and them boys.
It is a giant game. Greg Cody is here. I believe that I have this right when I say it's on Prime Video and only on Prime Video. So, Greg Cody, will you be able to find tonight's not playoff game?
Yeah, fake playoff game. My wife will find it for me.
That would have been great as a pregame show. Fake playoff game. We missed a great opportunity, but Jeremy, who is our in-house announcer, aspiring to be our Mike Biamonte, he is working very hard. He has 4 jobs. One of them is with the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat use him a great deal. And he is right now outside of the bustling energy and seismic sort of shaking that we have here in Miami before this, the biggest game of the basketball season, and what Greg is calling a fake playoff game. Jeremy, what's the scene out there outside of the arena before this big game?
That's right, Dan. It is palpable energy out here outside of the Kaseya Center. You could see the cars passing by the tens of cars, and that's because people are lining up to get here just to be able to watch the game outside the arena. As you guys mentioned, this game is in Charlotte, so the energy here is great for a team that is not playing at home. But this is the biggest game, not just of the season, but potentially of our lives, because every single time the Miami Heat take the floor, there's an opportunity to win, there's an opportunity to get to the playoffs, and there's an opportunity to advance all the way to the NBA Finals, Dan.
Go ahead and fade him down here. Get closer to where the energy is, please. I don't want you in an intersection. I want you closer to the arena.
The energy is right here, Dan, at the intersection.
No.
Nobody would ever let us go to the arena. That's a bad idea by you. We'll have to shut this down. But we could be right here where you could see folks even passing by on bicycles.
Yeah, that's closer to the arena, Jeremy. Closer to the statue. Closer to the place where it feels not like an intersection.
When you send me out, I get to the statue.
Right. I don't know why he's just in the middle of the street. That's not close enough to the game. But, Greg, you will be able to easily find. We'll check in with Jeremy a little bit later to see what the energy is like out there. You'll be able to find the game on Prime Video, no problem?
I won't, but my wife will. I don't know what is what channel. To this day, I'm saying what channel is ESPN? I think it's 216, 272.
206.
206. So, that's why the wife is one of the many reasons I love her so much.
I have a question here, though, for Zaz, that Zaz has already said that he does not believe the Miami Heat will be in the playoffs. They are, last I checked, they were a 5.5-point underdog tonight. It is kind of startling, right? Because I remember earlier this season, I was making fun of Charlotte coming down here for a game. Miami blew them out at home early in the season, and I was saying Charlotte has been running up and down the court for 30 years for no good reason. Kemba Walker is one of their most successful players ever. Did he ever win a playoff series? He never won a playoff series, right?
No, the Hornets have not won a playoff series since that Alonzo Mourning shot.
Yeah, but they did go to 7. They did go to 7 with the Miami Heat.
Well, no, since the Alonzo Mourning shot, the Mashburn beat,
right, 0-1. Yeah.
Mashburn beat the Heat. But when I think of Charlotte is a historically bad basketball team, and the Charlotte crowd tonight will be embracing something that is almost foreign to them. And the thing that I wanted to ask Zaz, because I do actually think it's an interesting conversation, that is also a strange conversation to have today, which is, do you want the Heat to win?
Oh, we're going to answer that right now?
Yeah. He asked the question you answer, especially when it's directed towards
It's a difficult question, is it not?
Is tough, yeah.
Will you be watching the game tonight and wanting the Miami Heat to lose? Because, as I looked this up the other day, if they lose, they will get a 4 to 7% chance of being in the lottery. If they get to the playoffs, they have a 0% chance of getting to the lottery. So, do you want them to win tonight, yes or no?
Yeah, for me, the answer is yes. I don't expect – I think they're going to lose tonight. For me, the answer is yes, because 4 to 7%, I happen to look at it the other way. They have between a 93 and a 96% chance of not winning the lottery. And that's an extraordinarily high percentage chance. So while they're not going to get past Detroit in the playoffs, we are talking about the difference of selecting like 12 overall and 15 overall, and they get to play in a playoff series, or at least I get to watch a playoff series. So I'm rooting for them to win.
I need to know the percentage chance that they can take Detroit to 6 games. Give me that number. If that number's
0%.
If that number's higher than our lottery chance, that's what I want.
That was the same conversation everybody had last year against Cleveland, and what happened there?
That's right.
I didn't say win the series. I said to get it to
No,
6.
they didn't win a game in the series last year.
I don't think what Zaz said. I happen to think that this is a pretty good NBA draft, so I don't think 3 draft spots is a small thing. Right. I think it's a helpful thing, especially with this franchise's pursuit of a superstar.
Wouldn't it be the other thing? If it's a good draft, then 3 slots is not a big thing because you're still going to get a good player.
I think that there's going to be a good player, but a better player at 12 than 15, just applying basic logic. But the way that I've experienced these play-ins, dating back to the Bulls one, in which that path ended with a majestic run to the NBA Finals, is when they're down, I'm like, yeah. And when they pull ahead, I'm like, yeah, that's Heat basketball.
Feels like a win-win.
It's very strange for me watching this because I am a Heat fan. It's weird. Like, I can step back and have the macro view of what's better for this franchise is for them to lose.
Yeah, I won't be upset if they lose, Dan.
But I am still a Heat fan, and when my team starts winning in a big game, because these games do tend to feel big, it's win or go home. Like I get proud when the team shows heart. It's a weird experience for me.
I think the fan, notwithstanding what Mike just said, I think the fan should be rooting for the Heat to lose. Frankly, it's a season that feels like it wants to be put out of its misery, and for the reasons you say, even a minute lottery shot is better than none. 12 is better than 15. There are tangible reasons to hope they lose. It's been a forgettable season. Other than an 83-point game by Bam, it's been totally forgettable. And let's move to next year. And
this has been one of the most disappointing seasons in the 30 years of the Miami Heat, at least in part because it signals from the bubble to here where you've watched everything deteriorate. You've watched an empire crumble for 5 years. And over the course of this season, one of the things that's been weird is they're now 14th in defensive efficiency, which is the first time since 2014 that they're not in the top 10 at defense, and they were all season. So that just collapsed toward the end of the season. But one of the things that did happen in the second half of the season that I regard, I think, says, maybe go through the memory bank here, I regard it as the best game they've played the second half of the season. They've fallen apart since Bam's 83-point game. They don't look the same. They're not good at defense. They've been bad. I think the record is like they've won like 4 out of 14 games or something since then. It's something in that realm. But The best game I thought they had in the second half of the season was Tyler Hero going to Charlotte right after we said, aren't you amazed by Charlotte? They're 19-2 in their last 21. They're the hottest team in the league. And then Tyler Hero made all his shots in the game. And that Tyler Hero played in the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble, or he played in the playoffs in the bubble against Boston and became someone that we hoped in and hasn't looked like that since. And the game he played against Charlotte, go ahead and go to the memory bank and tell me the second half of the season. They wiped the floor with Charlotte, and they can if Tyler Hero is going to make all the shots, but you can't count on that in any reasonable way.
Yeah, the thing that's most confusing about this Heat team this year, or maybe most disappointing, I should say, is one of the hallmarks of an Eric Spoelstra team was no matter what the team was, if they were a really good team, if they were an average type team, they were always better by the end of the season. They were always playing their best basketball by the end of the season. And that has not been the case this year. Like you just mentioned, the defensive numbers absolutely plummeted.
27th in defense over the 7-10 stretch toward the end of the
they
season.
are always better at the end of the year under this coach, and that has not been the case.
Let me
this year.
try again on this, though. You guys realize that what I was saying is that they've got a 4 to 7% chance if they lose this game of a top 4 pick. Like, it's a top 4 pick. It's the spot that changes franchises. Top 4 pick. They've had very few of those in their history because they've always been relevant. How many of those have they had in their history? Like not their history, but under Pat Riley, is it 2?
Oh, under Riley, just
it's
one.
Beasley and Wade, right? Beasley.
Well, Wade was 5.
Wade was outside.
A
I
top
wanted
5
TJ
pick.
Ford.
Good player.
Could have been Kamen.
Thank God I wasn't on the air. I shouldn't have said that. Nobody would have known.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
You wanted TJ Ford over
We needed
Wade?
a point guard. And
He
I
was
like,
very
I don't-
popular coming out.
Yeah, we needed a point guard, and I didn't know if D-Wade can handle point guard.
I
And
thought
he
they were
did.
going to take Chris Kaman.
So did I.
Some great names.
Pat Riley liked Chris Bosh in that draft more than Dwayne Wade. But a top 4 pick, you guys understand, right? We've been talking around here for about 30 years where Jimmy Johnson would say the enemy of great is good when you start legislating all equalities and you make it so that 8 of the teams in the league are playing because they want to get into the position that the Heat would have a 4 to 7% chance of winning if they lose the game tonight and get a Cooper Flag. A Cooper Flag who can bail you out. A Cooper Flag who's the first 19-year-old to ever have 50 points in a game. I believe you guys are crazy. I understand that this is the way that fandom works, but you've been talking to me all season about how disappointing this Heat team is. You know that the last season ended in the most catastrophic way a season has ever ended for a basketball team in the playoffs. They got beat by more points than anyone's ever been beaten in the playoffs last year, and they're worse this year. This is a worse basketball team this year, is it not?
Well, no, we should point out, wins-wise, record-wise, they are better this year, but everybody else in the Eastern Conference have gotten more better. So
How about morale-wise?
So the Heat are 10th this year as a result.
Yeah, to me, that's the discouraging thing. When you look at the macro view, the Heat isn't bad if you consider they're above 500. They're plus 2.4 on points for and against, but none of that matters because they're 10th. And look at the teams that you could always count them being better than that they've now fallen behind. Charlotte, Orlando, Atlanta. Detroit was awful a few years ago. Now look at them.
Greg, the group is really mad at you for citing those stats. They didn't like those stats.
No, I'm done trying to pretend that the Heat are good. The Heat
This is
suck.
an old Yeller team.
The Heat suck.
No.
This is let's turn the page on this. The Heat suck.
I think the easiest way to look at it, Greg, outside of Milwaukee, who had extenuating circumstances, the only teams in the Eastern Conference who the Heat finished ahead of are literally teams trying to lose games.
Right. Yep. You're right. The tankers. And I'm not saying the Heat are good. They're not. They're bad. They're 10th. 10th is 10th.
They're not bad. They're a little over 500. They're thoroughly mediocre.
I know,
They're a
but
team-
that's what you just made fun of me for, was saying from that vantage,
Yeah.
they're not terrible.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think they're terrible.
They're a 10 seed.
They
That's
got
what
no
they are.
shot. They got no
Right.
shot.
Exactly.
And it's just not headed in the right direction. At the beginning of the season, I would have been like, okay, this team has a shot. It's been going downhill since they decided famously, we've got enough.
But they like their team, Dan, right? That's what Eric Spoelstra said after the trade deadline. We like our team.
We're better than you think we are. We're better than our record states.
And the end result is going into tonight in a do-or-die play-in game. They are a 5.5-point dog against the lowly Hornets.
The problem is it's not a do or die. It's a die or die. Because either way you slice it, the franchise isn't moving in the right direction.
Or it's a win-win. You either get in the lottery or you make the playoffs.
It cannot be a die-die game.
It's a die-die
and
game
a win-win game.
Die-die is a tough spot.
What Mike described earlier. If they're losing, he's happy. If they're winning, he's happy.
It's a
What's that,
die-die.
folks.
All right, so
Win-win.
put it on the poll. Is tonight's Heat game a die-die win-win game? Because you guys are saying it's both a die-die game and a win-win game, and I'm not sure of the story of Old Yeller, but I also want put on the poll, if you say this is an Old Yeller game, do you then have to say take them out back?
Yeah, you got to take them out back.
But I don't
Who
think
are we taking out back?
The Old Yeller.
Was Old Yeller killed at the end? Did Old Yeller just die,
Yes.
or Old Yeller was
No,
killed?
no,
He was
Buddy
taken.
was shot.
Shot.
Very
Put out of his
sad.
misery.
Yeah.
Put out of his
Terrible.
misery, out
Chrissy,
back.
Chrissy Nome did it.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Different time.
Not
Her
a lot of
husband
people
was
know
in the
that.
background wearing a brassiere.
Yep, that happened.
Let's go out to Jeremy.
Nowadays, you do it with a shot.
Let's go out to Jeremy again, where he's a little more positive than the group that I have here, and he's surrounded by positive energies as we check in with the Heat Arena before the biggest basketball game of the season and indisputably the biggest basketball game being played today, correct? There is no bigger basketball game being played anywhere.
Blazers Suns.
Okay, but that's afterwards.
That's a massive
This
game.
is the first big game of the beginning.
Of the postseason.
This is the first big game. So
Dan, you know about that Danny Avdia?
The Heat are opening the postseason with this fake playoff game that isn't a playoff game to get into the playoffs. Let's go out to Jeremy, who's near the positivity. What's the energy out there like, Jeremy?
The beautiful views of the Kaseya Center just over my left shoulder on your right. And Dan, we're talking about percentage chances. There are some fans that just walked by and said, hey, tell Le Batard with his 4 to 7% chance of getting into the top 4 picks, you could look at the Heat's play-in history and let everyone know there's a 33% chance that if they get out of the play-in game, they get to the NBA Finals. And that's a fact, Jack, based off of history.
Que mienta! Que mienta!
There was nobody. See,
No hay nadie ahí.
No supe que había aquí un pollo latino.
Get closer to the arena.
Pollo tropical.
You're too far. Get closer.
Get closer, Jeremy. And no one told you that because there's no one there. No one walked past you because there's no one
The
there.
energy is palpable as everyone anticipates the biggest game of this Miami Heat season. Eric Spoelstra told me before last game that the Heat can't dwell on the lows of this season. Inconsistency has been the hallmark, but this year it is most important that they focus on the really good moments that they had earlier in the season, where they were able to beat teams like the Detroit Pistons and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Dan, we'll send it back to you as the Heat march their way toward victory tonight in the biggest game. You call it a die-die game. I call it a die-anu game, which means, Dan, the big macham on campus such as myself know within Judaism that means to appreciate what you have and to not take it for granted. Enjoy a basketball game tonight and move forward with this die-anu game here, not at the Kaseya Center.
He's right about that. What he's wrong about is the Heat touting moral victories against Oklahoma City in, January or whatever. That's crazy. That's where we are right now, Dan. That's where we are citing back, looking back in November and be like, oh, we beat the Charlotte Bobcats or whatever, 144-117. Sick.
Greg, how do you feel as a journalist about the Jeremy move that he's gotten very good at over the course of this year? Eric Spoelstra told me.
Yeah, I like that. It conveys stature. On his part, to be able to get talk to Eric, to talk to Spoelstra one-on-one, face-to-face. That's great. Good for Jeremy. Not a lot of people get to talk to Eric Spoelstra. So
what's a weird thing that I see? I read reporters doing nowadays in that similar vein. They'll say that I asked or Eric or he told me, but in a press conference setting, like because they asked the question, they'll say. He told me.
Yeah.
In a press conference.
I also hate certain unnamed reporters in this market who record themselves asking a question. Like you'll hear blank reporter.
How do they do that? They flip the phone around?
Yeah, and all of a sudden you hear his voice and he's taking a picture of the guy and his voice is asking
Who
the
does
question.
that? Why won't you name names on that?
You know, including the question in, I'm fine with that. I want to hear the question a lot of times.
Yeah, but
no, but he's saying they have the phone,
showy.
like the video.
I don't even know if he is saying that.
Yeah, no, I am saying that, and I think it's a little.
I know
showy.
what he's saying.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
He
No, I
wasn't
do.
saying that.
I
I
do
can
know
play
what
it back what he just said.
What are you saying?
He doesn't know what he's saying. Do you have your top 50 catchphrases?
Always.
Not always.
Usually.
You didn't have them the last time I asked
Yeah,
for them.
2 times ago I didn't. But since I've learned, the others, they all learn from me.
When he has them, he always has them.
Exactly. Well put, Zaz.
You mentioned not everyone has the stature to talk to Eric Spoelstra, and I'm hoping that Jeremy is walking over to the Dwayne Wade statue to get the energy that's over there. But we had a statue moment that I believe in sports is the best statue moment that we have had since the Dwayne Wade unveiling that was a real catastrophe. I'd also like to congratulate Zaz here. This is roughly the anniversary of when Zaz won a job with us because the play-in game that he won and the Heat won against Atlanta.
Oh, Hero was so good that night.
That was the day that he won a bet, and he ends up. Do you not know this story? This is how Zaz got the job. Zaz won a job here with a bet on that Heat versus Hawks playoff game. It's the biggest bet you've ever made.
Most importantly, I won Pearl Jam tickets out of it too.
Oh, that is more important.
Talk about a die-die situation. The Heat win the playoff game. We don't get Cooper Flag, and then we're straddled with Zaz here.
That's such nonsense.
It's a die-die.
I hate how you do that, okay? I don't care the part about me. I hate how you do the idea that if that Cooper Flag would have still been their pick, okay? It's nonsense. The Heat made the playoffs.
It's not nonsense. It's very simple.
It was the Mavericks' pick. The Mavericks won the draft lottery, not the Heat, because the Heat weren't in the draft lottery. It's not their pick.
It was their pick.
Would I give up
It was
Zaz
it was literally never their pick.
to have
you're
Cooper
crazy.
Flag? I got to think about that one.
Do you?
No, you don't.
No, you really don't.
I thought about it for a half second. And I'm a big Zaz guy. Have you seen this guy? 50 points.
At 19. But is this the best sports statue moment that we have had since Dwayne Wade, everything that happened with Ichiro's statue? Have you seen this, Greg?
Yes, I have.
All
It's
right.
hilarious.
For the audio audience, they take the big bed sheet off of the statue and the bat the famous iconic pose of Ichiro pointing his bat at the pitcher to sort of he points it at the air and at the pitcher to sort of I don't know, was one of the coolest entrances to the plate that there have been, but they broke the bat. And so instead of pointing the bat in a menacing fashion that would suggest conquering, it's a clearly broken bat that now faces him, and Ichiro's bursting out laughing because of how ridiculous it is that the bat clearly broke. The bat wasn't supposed to break, obviously, and I'm honestly surprised that a bed sheet was able to break a bat of a statue. The physics of that is the sculptor needed to consider something like that, because if a bed sheet can do it, anybody walking by could break that very easily.
That was some serious thread count on that.
It saved the Mariners' season. They've won 5 in a row since then and finally found their offense. Their pitching was always there, but their offense was anemic. I think their top 3 batters were sub 200 until that statue happened.
Let's go back out to the positivity that you might find around the Heat's arena as they enter the first of the fake playoff games played this evening, and the biggest basketball game being played today before a bigger one is played a little later in the day between the Suns and the Trailblazers. Let's check in with Jeremy as he gets closer. Look at that. That's some atmosphere right now. That feels like Toronto when they were playing road games at Golden State, and there'd be like, thousands of people in the garden outside.
They call it Jurassic Park.
Thank you. Look, let's join. Well, Jurassic Park is here.
Look how many steps
Cody's
are there.
next to me. Over there, you've got Jeremy with a lot of steps. Jeremy, paint the picture for us before the biggest fake playoff game in Miami Heat's today.
That's right. If you look over here, you see lots of steps as a metaphor for the steps that the Miami Heat will take, starting today as a 10 seed, playing their way into the postseason in their march toward the NBA Finals. The statue of Dwayne Wade haunting the ghosts of Sean May and Emeka Okafor, and the purple shirt guy as the Heat take on the Charlotte Hornets tonight. And Dan, a couple of great seasons for the Miami Heat individually anchoring this team. Bam Adebayo, the first 20-10 season for the Miami Heat since Alonzo Mourning, and Shaquille O'Neal, the only other players in franchise history to accomplish such feat. Pelle Larsson, only the 5th player in Miami Heat history as a sophomore to accomplish the feats of 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, ranking just behind Dwayne Wade in that group.
Yeah, he's on the bench
win
tonight.
shares, and Eric
All right.
Spoelstra told me me.
Yeah.
I heard from Eric Spoelstra in our face-to-face conversation that only he and I were in, that one of the great things about this Heat season, one of the most notable positive moments, was the development of their young players, such as Pelle Larsson, such as one Vlad Golden.
He's
Jameer
benching
Young,
Pelle
who just
Larsson
signed
tonight.
to
They're going to
a
play Khalil. Aren't they playing Khalil Ware and Bam together? Isn't that what they're doing
Well, you
tonight?
are dialed in. I haven't read anything about this team in the last few days. Surprisingly, the Miami Heat have not put up the 16 numbers that they usually cross out on their march to an NBA championship. I guess they're waiting.
Well, because they haven't qualified yet.
Maybe they should put up an 18.
That is funny. Like, how does that meeting go? Where, let's say the Heat win the play-in. All right, they win tonight, and they win on Friday, be it Orlando or Philadelphia. Somebody in that Heat office is going to sit down and say, let's get the billboard up there.
Do we put up the 16
God.
numbers
Oh,
that we
my
X
God.
out? Or
With
do
the
we
16 trophies. Oh, it's trophies.
Would they dare?
Would
Would
they
they dare?
spray paint
Yeah.
off?
Ugh.
I think, after LeBron left, they were like, white hot usually means something. Let's go back to black.
What do you guys do with the fact that over the last, 38 games, the Hornets are 28-10, and the Heat finished the season losing 10 of their final 15 games? Like, the second half of the season for both of these teams has been the exact opposite. Charlotte started the season 16-28. Like, they looked really bad, and the combination of Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Con Knippel figured out a whole bunch of things offensively and defensively. They were, I think, top 6 offensive and defensive metrics over the second half of the season. This is a team that I would expect to drag the Miami Heat tonight, unless for some reason the Miami Heat have a great shooting night. But the lineup of Bam and Adebayo together, when it's been on the court, Spo hasn't used it that much, but when it's been on the court today, Zaz, it's been successful. Like,
Yeah.
it's looked
Not a ton of time, but yeah.
But people have been curious all year. Why don't they play more together?
Yeah, they were a plus 85 when Ware and Bam had been on the floor together. But again, just 505 minutes together. But it is the best plus minus for a Heat duo in their time on the floor, plus 85.
So why haven't they been on the floor? We always give Spo, and I think Spo's the best coach in the league, but we give him credit for being a genius. Why haven't they played more if that is the case?
I really think the tough love approach is more important to them than, I feel like they think it's better for us in the long term than the short term. And you got to earn all of this, and they don't just give away minutes to young players.
And now it's the shortest of terms, so he's going with the odds. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it about Spo, but the guy don't want to learn, got to want to earn. If you have a combo that works, play it.
It's tough to.
Good point by him. That's another Greg Cody.
Really?
First
Really?
down.
All right, let's go. Hold on a second, Zaz, because we got to go out to Jeremy. He's scared. He works for the Heat. He's on the steps. He's in a prohibited place. He's close to the statue. I see Dwayne's nether regions there.
You can walk up to the team store. It's right there.
Okay, I don't think he's allowed up there. He's scared.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, give us well, then I don't know why you didn't start there. Give us the positivity of around the Heat's season right now.
Look, when you look at this duo of Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo, the big thing that you need to notice is over the span of the season, there was development with Khalil Ware's game on the floor at the same time. Defense, the calling card of the Miami Heat, something they've lost over the last 15 games, has been a point of emphasis for Ware all season long. And Eric Spoelstra told me that Ware's development on the defensive end is what now allows him to start those two players together. And folks, if we remember back to the Heat's final run from the play-in season, another player, young player, earned his way into the starting lineup with just a few games to go. That was one Max Strus over Duncan Robinson as Robinson went to the bench. Now you see Khalil Ware enter the starting fold, potentially unlocking something different for Eric Spoelstra's Miami Heat as they take steps towards victory, trying to claw their way from the 10 seed all the way to the NBA Finals. First stop, Charlotte tonight with the ghosts of Raymond Felton.
I think that tonight is going to be a dark night. They have been one of the worst defenses in the league, maybe the worst among the teams that are trying since Bam's 83-point game. And this is not the team to be playing to have to do that.
Points, Dan.
You were saying, Jeremy?
They score a lot of points. Yeah, it helps when you can score more points than the other team. So even if you give up a lot of points, you can score a lot of points. That's what happened in Charlotte.
But it also helps to not have the worst defensive team in the league among teams that are trying to win.
Yeah, well, they have the best player in terms of on-off differential, and he'll play 45 minutes tonight. So that's fine. We can see what happens.
Mike, do you know what the Heat's starting five was the last time the Hornets had a home playoff game, which of course was a must-win Game 6 for Miami 10 years ago? That was purple shirt guy game.
Yeah. Was Joe Johnson on the floor for Miami?
He was.
Dwayne Wade, obviously, iconic. Bosch was out sick, or was
he was done by here?
Yeah.
Was Babbitt starting for them?
No.
Babbitt was remember, Babbitt kept starting because the record was so good with Babbitt just ceremonially starting.
No, that was a different year.
Whiteside?
Yeah. You got
right.
two more.
All right. Okay. Goran?
Yeah.
All right.
One more.
Who's the 4?
You're good at this.
Who's the 4? It's not UD. UD's off the bench. Who's the 4?
You're gonna feel silly if you don't get it, especially considering what's been said recently on this show.
Oh, it's got to be McBob.
Josh?
No, he came off the bench.
Okay. Who was it?
Luol Deng.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Played the 4. Good
that
for
team
him.
was that man. If that team had Bosch, they might have made some noise.
But you have been, look, your Heat allegiance, I can track to right where Bosch gets unhealthy. Bosch getting unhealthy is where you started hurting around the Miami Heat because you had such huge expectations for what they were going to be able to fix with Chris Bosch by retaining Chris Bosch and Dwayne Wade. You thought they were going to be able to keep together some semblance of a competitive thing that could challenge post Big Three.
I thought that they were going to play Cleveland. We acquired Goran Dragic.
We were begging for Cleveland.
And LeBron still hadn't proven that he can do it without Miami, and he wanted no part. He skipped the Miami games that season. And if I recall correctly, the Miami Heat went to 7 against the Toronto Raptors in the following series, and they got blown out in Game 7. It was just a terrible game. But had they won that, they would have played Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. No, that was obviously a huge blow. I think that Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and Goran Dragic, that unit, especially with Riley making good moves. That Joe Johnson move was a really deft move.
That team would have been competitive for several years. And we're not even mentioning Whiteside. I mean, maybe been good, maybe been bad.
Yeah, but Whiteside was like a player that was a problem guarding the rim against the LeBron James
That would have
team.
been a competitive team for years.
Yeah. No, but, I mean, the Miami Heat made 2 finals since then. I think really the line of demarcation was when they failed to improve the roster after making the finals when it was clear they didn't have enough against the Nuggets, and everybody in the East started making aggressive moves.
Greg, please walk me through some of what you think, because I have the risk of looking stupid tonight if they don't get dragged. But the way for them to stay in the game is what Jeremy said. Bam's point differential, if you keep him on the court, whenever he's on the court, they are an obviously different team than when he's not off the court. So you've got, in the entire league, the best point differentials that you have on-off numbers are Jokic at plus 16, Wembanyama plus 15, Kawhi plus 14, SGA plus 11, and Bam plus 11. So it's all the MVPs and Bam. Like, it's all the guys other than Luka that you're talking.
Such a funny way of saying that.
No, but it's a big difference. And when Hero was making his shots off of that, I saw them blow out Charlotte in Charlotte. And then this is the variable too. What's playoff experience worth? Because one team has it here and the other does not. Like what's it actually worth? Because one team's got home court and it's the biggest game in 10 years in that city. But they don't have any playoff experience, but it's a fake playoff game. So do you need,
that's the caveat,
put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you need playoff experience for a fake playoff game?
The Heat have a lot of fake playoff experience, being in the play-in all the time.
The most.
They're the best at fake playoffs.
They are. 4 years in a row, baby.
Are they the best fake playoff team? Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Put it on the poll.
They've never lost in the fake playoff.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are the Miami Heat the most experienced fake playoff team?
Steeled by experience.
Is fake playoff experience fake experience?
No, it's real experience of fakeness.
Yeah. Because you pretend it's not fake.
But it's real. Fake, though.
It's real fake.
Yeah. Nobody would be surprised if Miami won, right? And that's part of the problem with this team is it's supposed to think they're good enough.
You still don't watch the clock at all, huh?
No, I really don't.
No awareness.
Coming up today on the alley oop, Shaquille O'Neal, I thought you was a P. Apparently not. Also, stop throwing drinks on folks at the damn baseball game.
And at last, Juju, it has occurred. Doc Rivers has been released from all coaching duties from the Milwaukee Bucks, and guess what? They did Google him. Lock in.
Featuring In-Flight magazines.
In-Flight magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is that cardboard pamphlet about the plane that nobody reads, the drink menu nobody needs, and the barf bag. Where's my In-Flight magazine? Where did it go? Joni was right. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot, and then stole my In-Flight magazine. These staples of Americana predated even Greg Cody. Pan Am Airways published the first IFM in 1940. Now the high-flying mags are disappearing like donuts in a press box. Southwest Rag, augustly called simply The Magazine, is gone now. Delta Sky, gone. American Way, gone. Retired after 55 years. Alaska and Emirates Airlines, too, gone. Airline magazines falling from the sky one by one. Some others, like United Hemispheres, are now digital only. Blame the pandemic. COVID killed the In-Flight magazine, or rather gave airlines an excuse to make a cutback like businesses did with remote meetings where the office buildings used to be. But more than that is to blame. The digital era stampeded the helpless handheld mag. In-flight entertainment and mobile browsing happened. Airlines have even claimed noble reasons for discontinuing their magazines, like how removing all of them makes planes lighter, which saves on fuel. Sounds like malarkey. Hurtling cabins once were full of rattling newspaper pages held wide. Then those disappeared, and then I was the last flyer still leafing through an in-flight magazine while everybody else was softly chuckling at a movie or listening to music with earbuds. This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is the Pope weak on crime? Number 50, Greg Cody.
I'm fuller than Vern Fuller.
49.
Where's my click?
48.
Hey, Butterfinger.
47.
Punt.
46.
Scranton.
45.
I'm busier than a one-arm paper hanger.
44.
Georgia.
43.
43.
I'm the kind of guy that
42.
ball on the jack.
41.
Hey, hey, with the monkeys, baby.
40.
Thank you, Billy.
39.
I love him like a pet.
38.
Who made it a salad?
37.
We're rolling now, huh?
36.
Your brain beating me.
35.
Let's go States.
34.
Driver comfort is paramount.
33.
Dummy up.
30.
Save up.
32.
Catch as catch can.
31.
Doesn't make it right.
30.
So on and so forth.
That's such a bad one. 29.
Very good.
That one's very good. 28.
The Little League theory.
How did they get in there? 27.
Nice hat, asshole.
26.
The others, they all learn from me.
25.
Don't go showering to try to please me.
24.
Look at that jerk.
I can't believe he's successfully pulled off a months-long bit. 23.
It's like a packing house in here. Should be hams hanging on hooks.
Are these next two the two new ones?
These next two are the two new ones.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody
Yep.
is where you get your first exclusive look at what it is the next ones are. We're about to break the top 20 here in what's been a months-long bit that Mike can't stop yawning about. 20. Are you on 22? 22 here,
Yes.
Greg. Unveil the newest one.
22. What'd you learn?
You felt pretty good about that
Yeah,
one.
I did.
You did that one with a little bit of a flourish.
On the Greg Cody Show podcast, there's a full extended etymology of the background on all these and what they mean, the origin, all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're writing something with them?
It's extemporaneous, but yes. Yeah, I don't need to write it down to know.
So it's a bit of an oral history.
Yes,
that accompanied.
oral history was a good way to put it.
What'd you learn is generally a greeting. It's like I'm walking into a room with a bunch of people I know. What'd you learn?
Right.
I wasn't yawning, Greg. It's soundproof glass. I was literally saying, wow.
Okay.
Greg Cody said a couple of funny things while just sitting here muttering to himself before the show. One of the things that he said was, until I've talked about Ruben Bain, it hasn't been talked about.
Right.
Is what he said. More interesting, though, is he said Gesundheit when somebody sneezed. And I want to ask you guys what you say when someone sneezes, because Cody informed me afterward. I'm like, you say Gesundheit, huh? And he's like, well, sometimes. And then he said, sometimes I say bless you.
Right. But I don't say God bless you because I don't want to be presumptuous.
Doctor bless you.
You know, I'm not God, and
Very good.
I don't want to speak for God, and beyond that, all you're doing is sneezing. Why is God involved in this? Sneezing is not that big a deal.
Well, do you know where it comes from?
your
Why
soul.
they say bless you?
Yeah, I've heard all that.
Your soul leaves your body, and someone had to quickly say, God bless
What
you.
a dismissive wave you just gave that.
Don't we have one more?
We don't
Are we
believe
done with
it.
the countdown?
We don't.
Yes,
yeah.
we're going to get to it in a second. Yeah, I want to tease it out.
Well,
It's-
you're edging me here.
Well, it's time spent listening, Mike.
know.
What are you, an amateur? People are waiting around for this stuff, so there's a little
TSL,
detour.
yeah.
I
little
am a
detour we
radio
take.
amateur.
I say bless you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it worth a blessing though?
Yeah, but, well, my understanding is the bless you comes from because when you sneeze, your heart skips a beat.
Well, supposedly. I don't believe that. I don't
Okay.
believe that for a
You think
minute.
it's
Greg, would it
science?
change your mind at all if you learned that the origin of God bless you may have come from a pope back in 590 CE?
Soft on crime?
Immediately after sneeze to protect a person from dying, it was Pope Gregory.
How about that? Okay. I mean, great name. Bad decision by
When do
him.
you choose? Do you use anything else? Is it just Gesundheit and bless you? Let's put up some options on a poll at Le Batard Show.
Say nothing is an obvious one because all you're doing is sneezing. You're not. If you're saying a heart attack, then I say God bless you because I want God to step in and save your life.
If someone's having a heart attack, the only thing you're doing is saying God bless you?
And I call 911 right after that.
In that order.
If you
Yes,
say that to me
right.
and I'm having a heart attack, you're a jerk.
Okay, but the larger point is that if you sneeze, it's particularly if you don't sneeze the right way. Like earlier, before we came on the air, Le Batard sneezes over here, and it sounded like a grunt. It sounded like a bull in the field.
Muffled. It was a bit muffled.
It didn't deserve your bless
It
you.
was a snorting sneeze that barely sounded like it. I want a sneeze to sound like the word achoo. Okay, give me a good classic achoo, I'm more likely to say bless you.
A little bit that I like to do at home is when my wife sneezes, I lovingly turn to her and I say, "Hey, shut up."
I like that. See? That's the proper response because it makes light of the fact that sneezing is considered such a big deal that we're bringing God into it.
Also funnier, given who he generally is, to not tell us it's a bit and just tell us that that's what you do at home because it's you. Because you saying shut up to anybody when what this is simple courtesy, right? It's not that you need God's blessing. It's that someone has been in a momentary state of discomfort and you're saying, I noticed, I'm present. I don't know what the general translation is for Gesundheit. I'm more interested. The bless you is less interesting to me than Gesundheit because I don't know how to. Do any of you know how to spell that word?
Yeah, I do.
You know how to spell?
Yeah.
You think you could get it exactly right on
Yeah.
Gesundheit? Do any of you think you can spell correctly? Do any of you think that you know the history? Because I sure as hell don't. On why it is that somebody says Gesundheit and what is the origin of that word?
I think it's a German word, and I believe it's spelled Gesun.
Wrong.
Deit.
There's one more on this list. I need to hear it.
What is it?
No, on your countdown.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking you.
I thought you meant another synonym for
I don't want to get to it just yet. Zaz, does he really have it wrong after saying, all right, try it again, Greg?
Gesundet.
Incorrect.
Remember, it's German. They throw things
I think
where
you
they
just
shouldn't
spelled it
belong.
the exact same way you did a few
I
seconds
did.
ago.
I was hoping to fool you.
I think there's an H after
Yeah,
the
there's a silent H in there.
Okay, spell it then. Well,
All right, you
y'all have
ready?
looked it up by now.
I have it there ready.
These people.
It's for you to spell,
But
not for
Tony-
me. I'm not going
Tony-
to take a quiz.
Tony, it was funny though. It was funny where he says, "Go ahead and spell it," and you say, "All right," and then immediately
down.
look at your computer.
Yeah, because I don't know how to spell it. Plus, when you look at it, it's like there's a lot of words here. I got to find which is the right one.
Jeremy, just find for us at your leisure. Is it just German for bless you?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that Gesundheit was German for bless you? It is weird and funny that you and any of us would choose the German word for bless you instead of just saying bless you when in this country and when not otherwise speaking German.
The reason is Gesundheit is like a funny word. It's like a cartoon word that says, if I say to you Gesundheit, what I'm really saying is, you sneezed. Imagine that. I got to say something.
I'd rather say, ew, gross.
It used to literally mean health in German, and then also at one point was used when they would toast to a drink, but that's now largely obsolete according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
Greg, maybe you'd like the Spanish version, like very much like Gesundheit is salud, which is in Spanish health.
Salud, am I right?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, now that's a proper toast.
Can
Salud.
you guys imagine the horror of the first person and surrounding people to witness a sneeze? That's why I would assume that we're shouting about health to people.
So in this scenario, then you have grown people that are looking around, and then one guy sneezes, but no other person in that lot has ever sneezed
It's the
before.
first sneeze. There was a first sneeze, correct?
Yeah.
There was at some point. There was.
I'm on it.
The first person. I've thought about this with lightning storms. How horrifying this had to be to the original caveman. Like what the hell is happening here? This is horrifying, and it's the two places I've thought of it: the original lightning storm and the original sneeze, and at the third place, the birthplace of comedy, the original fart.
Original fart is good. That's funny.
Well, how about the first time someone witnessed someone getting struck by lightning?
Well, that's not witnessed a lot, and it would be horrifying at any time through human history. That remains horrifying.
The first birth.
Oh my God!
It's a human coming out of you?
The first labor. Let's get to number.
How about your belly growing? Just, what is this?
I know.
What
was
thought I was getting fat.
It's been happening to me all my
Yeah,
life.
I got to get on a treadmill. That's what the first pregnant woman was saying. By the
That's
way,
right.
just as a quick aside, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't have to ever cover his mouth when he sneezes. Why? Because I keep my mouth shut. I have a closed mouth.
There's
sneeze.
no way that that's
Yes.
true.
It comes out of your nose then.
Yeah, sneezing out of your nose.
No, it's internal. My sneeze.
But it could be wet out of your nose. It could,
But it isn't though.
But it could. What do you mean? It depends.
I gotta
does
see
it
this
not?
thing.
I also don't believe that you can. It's not possible. I think I have this right. I don't think this is an urban myth. It's not possible to urinate while sneezing. Correct?
What?
No,
No,
apparently
it
no.
stops. The
Dan's
flow
right.
stops.
Apparently everything stops.
The
That took
body,
a
the
little
body
momentarily.
seizes for a moment
Yes.
and nothing works. So it's not just urination. You don't think that there's anything else.
You
you're
stop
capable of.
breathing, like
it's
your
just
heart.
instant tasering paralysis.
That's what I've heard.
Can you imagine if that ever happens during a big sports moment, like a end of the NBA Finals, big time free throw, and a guy like is setting up and he sneezes as he's about to release? That'd be incredible.
What about the Masters?
Yeah.
18th tee.
Come to think of it, have you ever seen an NBA player sneeze?
No.
No.
Draymond Green always looks like he's about
does.
to.
Let me see if I can find a video of an NBA player sneezing.
But you're not going to find it. What do you think? You think there's a video? You think you could check the entirety of the internet and find a video that just is NBA players sneezing?
My funniest part of the sneeze is when you're about to sneeze and you look at sunlight because sunlight makes you sneeze. If you're going like this, you look at the sun and it brings on the sneeze.
21.
Okay, 22 was what you learned.
Yeah, that's why 21 is now.
Hee-haw 3.
Really? Really?
Yes, that's correct.
That doesn't make the top 20 an
No.
all-timer. For those of you who do not know, Greg, please stand behind me and show people this because I want to recreate Chris Cody's childhood. For those who do not know the history of this, Greg Cody was a street umpire, and his kids hated that he was the street umpire, but they needed.
Is that true?
Yes. They hated it because he make it, not surprisingly about him. And so when someone would strike out, Greg Cody would have this as the third strike call.
Hee-haw 3.
But
There are 20 better than that?
MLB haven't adopted that.
What happened to your bidet?
Well, that's an aside.
Yeah.
The bidet came to be attached to Hee-haw 3, but it's always parenthetical. And it's best used almost as a punchline. Like there should be a 2 or 3 second pause between the haw 3, the hee-haw 3, beat. Ba-dap. See, again, that's the etymology of it. There's a background. There's a method to the madness on all these things. But next week, we're in the top 20.
How is that out of the top 20? I think that's shocking. You said last week that you have 17 worthy of number one.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would have been one of them. That is one of your classics around here.
And that's how good the list is.
You're telling me that you have the remainder of this list laid out?
Not in sequential order. I have a 3-page lists of more than, I think there were almost 100 because of the ones I've added during the countdown. So from 100, I get the top 50.
Pardon me.
The Elser is always interested in improving, sometimes more loudly than others.
It's like right underneath my feet. I feel the drill bit.
I know. You feel the buzzing.
Dan, while we're kind of cleaning out the sneezing category here, I have Quinnen Williams, the football player. Before he was drafted, he was interviewed, and in it, he sneezes, blesses himself, and then thanks himself.
Okay, well, and you can get the Lou Holtz.
I have that too.
You can whatever sneezing. We had for a time. This is actually Zaslow said yesterday that he loves some of the old 790 stories. What I remember about the moment that we arrived as a show where we were uncommonly popular, and it was confusing to me how many young people were listening to us, was at live nightclubs very early in where it is that they were starting to become one of the biggest nightclubs in the world. Jump Around came on as a song, and a giant group of people started jumping up and down singing I'm a Violent Sneezer, because we had a bit for a long time that was Goose Gossage threw out his back as a reliever, sneezing one time, and he looks like somebody who would throw out his back sneezing. Jokic looks like somebody. Who in sports right now looks to you most? Draymond's always mid-sneeze. But
Like he's fighting off a sneeze,
yeah,
Draymond.
but who looks to you most likely because of thickness of body that if they went on the uninjured reserve and I told you, yeah, threw out their back sneezing, you'd say, yeah, I could see that because of the thickness of their body.
Shane Lowry.
I thought you were going to go Kyle Lowry.
I like Shane here. Yeah. I like my hand.
Desmond Bain, also a good one for me. Just wouldn't surprise me if he threw out his back sneezing. But go ahead and clean out the sneezing file.
I'm a violent sneezer.
That's Dusty Rhodes doing it. That's the fake. That's Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty, the fake Dusty Rhodes, and he is. He's a violent sneezer.
I'm a violent sneezer.
Now we have Lou Holtz, the famous one.
Also mentioned Amir Abdullah. Now, Marshall, usually it's all Rakeem Cato who did throw a touchdown pass in his 40. Devin Johnson put up 272 yards. That's a Marshall record. Nothing to sneeze at.
Those papers on that desk were covered in snot, right? Like the sound. No, don't tell me it's not. Listen to the wetness.
But he keeps it in.
Well, you think so? Here, just let's listen again, and you guys tell me whether there's spray here or not. Yes or no?
Also mentioned Amir Abdullah. Now, Marshall, usually it's all Rakeem Cato who did throw a touchdown pass in his 40.
That was a wet sneeze right there.
No, you're right.
That's a wet
So
sneeze.
much spray.
There is some spray there.
Germs all over the
He
desk.
tries to stifle it, but yeah, you could tell.
So-
It's on his shirt.
So you guys think that Trevor Maddich is looking at the back of one of his paws, and he's like, "Oh my God, Lou, what are you?" And yeah, he's shaking his hand clean. What else do you have in the sneezing
We
file?
have Quinnen Williams sneezing, blessing himself, and then thanking himself.
Different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here. So
He didn't say bless me, did he?
Bless you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, but do you understand that this is funny as audio, but visually? The sound that comes out of Holtz is the one that you'd think would come out of Williams, but the sound that comes out of Williams is the sound you'd think would come out of a frail old man.
different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here. So
That's a gentle breeze. That's not a sneeze. That's curtains billowing open. That's not a sneeze. How big is that man? What is the size of that human being? That is not a sneeze that matches the size in any way. And I can barely, like, the sneeze is so muffled as to be that of a mouse.
63303.
Play it one more time so I can hear how delicate that is.
different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here. So
He's a holder-inner, just like Greg Cody.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
You gotta develop the art of close mouth sneezing. You have to. It works.
What are you laughing about, Saz?
I mean, why did he bless himself and thank himself?
Somebody has to.
Is your laugh on delay? Like you're just realizing?
I just don't think it counts if you bless yourself.
No, it does. What do you mean it doesn't count? It
I think somebody else
Very
has to say
courteous
it.
to himself.
You
though.
think it doesn't count? What do you mean it doesn't count? It
Yeah.
doesn't count as a blessing if you
No,
bless
you need
yourself?
someone else to bless you. Like if you're dying, you can't just then start blessing yourself. You need someone else to give you the blessings and the prayers.
So it matters if I bless you.
Yeah.
For sneezing.
Yeah.
What am I, a clergyman all of a sudden?
Well,
what authority do I have to bless anybody?
I know I don't have any authority to bless myself. Somebody else got to do it for me. Help me out.
Can someone please explain to me, because I do want an explanation for this. Shams is going on Pat McAfee and doing something he generally doesn't do as an insider, and he's going after Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers likes to go after Shams and Shams' credibility, and he says that Shams is inaccurate, and he says he's objecting to Shams' report that the Bucks are were the most toxic situation in the league, and it was thoroughly reported. It was a written piece, and he talked to a great many people, but he got the perspective clearly from the camp of Giannis. It was informed by the camp of Giannis, and it is, I'm assuming, an accurate appraisal of how that camp feels. And Doc is questioning it. And I'm wondering if it's possible that neither one of these people is actually lying. Is it possible that Doc's just out of touch, or that Shams is getting a wrong appraisal? Is it possible that they have two different perspectives on this, that Doc is used to locker rooms that are bad, that it's not that abnormal a thing to have a disgruntled superstar? Some of this stuff is out in public. Is it possible that neither of them is lying? They're just different perspectives.
I think it's more likely that somebody is misleading Shams than the opposite. Because that's a problem with having a source, whether it's an agent
He's
or
got a lot
player.
of sources, though. It's not just one. He's got
Okay.
a lot of sources, and one of them appears to be Cam Thomas, disgruntled player.
Yeah, but sources aren't working for the reporter. Sources are working for their vested interest, for their client, and they want to put forth whatever narrative suits them. It's not that they're chummy with Sham and want to gift him a scoop or anything. There's always an interest outside of what's reported.
I don't question Shams' information. I don't some of the means of getting the information is something I've questioned, but I don't question his information. He tends to get all this stuff right.
For context, excuse me, he was publicly challenged by both the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler's agent about a story, and Shams let the agent do his thing, which was probably telling him one thing and then publicly doing another, withstood Pat Riley and the Miami Heat organization, making a rare public show of calling into question his integrity, and Shams just bit his time, and then he was right in the end.
So why is he speaking out this time, though?
I don't know. And I'm curious as to why people think Cam Thomas is a source here.
Let me get the Shams sound before we answer that question.
Listen, the reality of everything in Milwaukee is this. If they spent as much time dealing with their own internal dynamics and problems as they do responding to accurate reports, they wouldn't be in the mess that they're in right now. I'm just focused on doing the job at the highest of levels that I possibly can. I got one more for you. All right. So I watched some documentaries from time to time. I saw one on Fire Festival, right? And so the part we're at now is when everyone wants to run and you're doing the cover up. And again, it's totally fine. Jeez. I'm just here to document and cover it the right way. And I feel like we've done an unbelievable job tracking everything. And at the end of the day, the last month and a half, we've seen it.
Can I just say that I love that Firefest documentary so much? Has anyone else seen the
There are two of them.
I saw the first one, the OG one, where they open up that meal and it's like one slice of broken
They're both
ham.
good. They're both excellent documentaries. Was yours the one that talked to the fraudster or didn't have the fraudster?
No, I think they talked to him.
Okay, I think the other one's better.
Oh, really?
I think I
Is that
saw
the one
them
where
in
the guy
reverse
would
order.
S&D?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I know about.
It's supposed to be like luxury suites. They're like tents.
There is a shocking story, and I believe the other one, that when you see the other one, you'll see why it is that the other one is more memorable.
Love
than
Firefest.
That is a bar from Shams, and it's totally accurate. From where I'm standing, this whole Milwaukee thing is a total mess.
I mean, obviously it's a mess, but I don't know. Like you just said, Shams didn't hit back at the Miami Heat one, but this one, for whatever reason, he's deciding, because Doc Rivers has come at him a couple times. You remember when Shams was participating in the celebrity game at the All-Star, Doc Rivers made the quip that because he's on Giannis' team, maybe Giannis will trade Shams to the other team. Like, Doc's been needling him a couple of times, and I love this story, by the way. I hope it continues, all right? Mm-hmm. I just think it's pretty unusual for a guy who I think we all acknowledge is the best in the business, where he's not just letting the reporting speak, where it's, hey, I got to take a jab too.
Is he also reading the room where the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler's agent still had plenty of time in this sport? Doc is probably done being a meaningful person in this sport in terms of coaching teams and whatnot. So he's like, okay, We'll go ahead. You want some? Let's do this now.
I mean, you may be right, but when I think of Doc Rivers, he's the ultimate recyclable coach, right? Like, if I had to make a prediction, if I had to bet, I'm like, yeah, Doc Rivers is going to turn up again with another team. I'd be surprised if he didn't. And so, in effect, Shams is burning this bridge that he may have to deal with again.
Doc told Michelle Beadle, that he'd heard from 10 to 15 people that Shams was going to get revenge on him for what it is that Rivers told Beadle, the joke earlier this season, that Giannis should trade Shams.
Like, so that means Shams is going around. He's apparently telling at least 10 to 15 people, I'm going to get revenge on Doc Rivers. And those 10 to 15 people find Doc, hey, you know what Shams told me? He's going to get revenge. I don't buy that.
Okay, you don't have to buy that, and I don't know Shams this way. I think the best and most positive thing that I could say about Shams, not that I have very much negative to say about him, is he gets it right. Like, that part's hard to do, and there aren't a lot of examples that you can point to of him getting it wrong. He's absolutely at the top of credibility here. But Woj would do some vengeance shit. Like, it wasn't quite impartial. And so I don't know.
But he would do it with his work, right?
Well, but that's what this could be perceived as. If Doc thinks that piece is a hit piece, and if it's meant to make Doc look bad, he could think that piece was a byproduct of bringing. Look, man, this is a pretty positive time to beat Doc Rivers. You're getting into the Hall of Fame. You get one chance at that. That is, for retired athletes, the greatest thing. It's a fountain of youth. You get to relive your better days. Coaches are on the sidelines, man. They've got control, but it's not like having the ball in your hands. It's not the same thing at all. You're in meetings. You're handling bullshit. It's not. Coaches stay near the game because they miss what it was before. Doc was a really good player. And Doc is getting into the Hall of Fame, and he could revisit his youth as a player. And look at what he has instead. One of the few coaches ever fired immediately after getting into the Hall of Fame. When the hell do you see that? And instead what you get is, around that time, a Shams story that says that's the biggest mess in the league that he presides over. Excuse me.
Yeah, but you're framing it there, the timing of it, as if Shams is holding on to it.
Burrito. Jesus. I'm sorry. I don't
hear it. What are you guys talking about?
It's Doc's accusation. It's not mine.
Right. But okay, so Doc's accusation, but also it's coming out when Doc was just fired from Milwaukee. Like, that's the timing. It's not like with what's his name, Rory McIlroy, where the reporter's waiting for Masters Week. No. Doc just got fired. This is the story. It's right now.
Well, he didn't get fired, allegedly. He's got another year in his contract, and he's going to be making about $10 million next year, and he might actually be a consultant for the Bucks. You guys have a very different opinion, though. May have coached his last game. I wouldn't be surprised if he is back. He's gotten a number of good jobs. Is this going to be the punctuation? Like, he's always popular and charismatic enough to get great jobs.
You raise a good question. He did win a championship in Milwaukee, so it's not like this is a total disaster.
I think he'll be on the talk to him list for any team with an opening. I would bet. I don't know what the odds would be, but I would bet that he's coaching somewhere next season if he wants to.
All right, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Doc going to coach again? Also, way late, but I'm grateful it's here. Roy's video of the day is finally making an appearance. Roy's video of the day. Congratulations.
He's been developing this idea for 3 years.
Yep.
Finally got it done.
And so you can see it in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen if you are somebody who watches the show on YouTube. Something we have not talked about in this.
Dog's taking a shit on the baseball field.
Job,
for
Roy.
audio listen.
Way to go, Roy.
It is a mascot, the mascot dog that is supposed to come out and pick up the bat or whatever. Yeah, just has to go to the bathroom and decides to do it near second base.
Not the mascot dog, the bat dog.
That's right.
It is the dog that's a mascot.
Nope.
It's
just
not a
just
mascot.
a bat dog.
Not in a costume.
Wouldn't call the bat boy or the bat girl a mascot. They're just the bat boy or the bat girl.
So you think this is a bat dog? You don't think this is the
exactly what it is.
It's a bat dog.
All right, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the bat dog a mascot?
I mean, technically, you mentioned Bat Boy and Bat Girl. when in soccer, in European soccer, when all the children come out in uniform with the soccer players, they do call those kids mascots.
Yeah, this is baseball, where they have a bat boy and a bat girl, and that's a bat dog.
That's not a bat boy or a bat girl, and if it is a bat dog, it might be male or female. So why wouldn't that be a bat girl or bat boy as well? Because that might be a very good boy, although theirs being a bad boy.
Are you suggesting it might be a bat bitch?
That's a pat dog.
That was that was Pat McAfee's response to Shams dropping a bar on Doc Rivers.
He's right.
It's also the sound of a wildebeest dying painfully in the wild.
Really had a walrus or like a seal.
Walrus, strong. It's a dead walrus if I've ever
Bend the
heard
knee,
one.
Dan. Say it was a good call. Say it.
You think that's a walrus or a wildebeest?
Let me hear it again.
It's a bigger animal than a walrus, I feel like.
Dan, have you seen a walrus lately?
I'm going to go with walrus.
Clap it up for
Thank
the
you.
walrus.
Yeah, the walrus. Yeah, definitely a walrus.
The walrus has
Walrus,
won.
definitely.
Yeah, big
Great
tusks.
answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Big tusks.
We have got to start getting ready for soccer and the World Cup. We're going to have games in this country, and we did not talk, and this is my fault that we did not talk about this. It is fairly shocking that Italy wasn't going to be in the World Cup. It is fairly more shocking that developments in the world that keeps Iran out of the World Cup might make it so that now Italy is back in the World Cup. Do you, as a World Cup lover, and I've told your son the other day, of that truly terrible motel that you and I stayed in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles, because there were so few places.
Downtown in the 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Greg can tell you the
You
stories.
watched the news back then?
Greg, Cody, and I stayed in a terrible downtown hotel because it was so hard to get lodging the last time the World Cup, or not, is that the last time? Is that
94, yeah.
The last time the World Cup was in the United States. It was so hard to get lodging.
Did you guys see the Nightcrawler or not?
What do you remember about that motel? Because downtown Los Angeles,
Rich Ramirez?
we were the Nightcrawler. Both he and I were wandering around the streets of downtown Los Angeles looking for accidents.
Right. Yeah, and fires. Was Scott Price with us, or am I
No.
thinking? Okay. I think I remember that there was maybe it was connected with a motel or hotel, but there was a restaurant there that had a particular dish that I kept going back to.
At a motel.
At the Cecil Hotel.
I've told you guys that this bar is one of the worst bars I've ever been in. Greg was in it every night. It was a bit of a tiki hut, but this was a straight up downtown motel.
Yeah.
This was like $30 a night.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
So the food you kept going back for.
The No-Tell Motel, it was called.
Regardless,
Yeah,
I was
remember
talking to
that.
you about Italy. You got lost in your own thoughts. You remember that Scott Price
you
was
brought
at a
up
place
the
that he
hotel.
wasn't. I did bring it up, but I was asking you about Italy.
Italy is one of the international powers of soccer, and it's good for the World Cup if they're in the tournament. I'd also, for different reasons, I think it'd be pretty fun to have Iran in the tournament as well.
Yeah.
What are some of those reasons?
Put it on the poll. Would you think it'd be fun if Iran were in the tournament?
fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
They're scheduled to play a game on July 3rd, the day in the United States, Chicago, I think. I don't know if that'll happen because they're asking for all their matches to be moved to Mexico, but that's intrigue. Intrigue is good. Controversy is good.
So Italy
fun.
is actually making a recent habit of not making the World Cup final because look, my dog is about 76 years old in doggy years.
How'd you figure that out?
Took her to the vet. She's seen Italy play in the World Cup once. Like, for many people, the only memory they have in the World Cup is Luis Suarez biting Chiellini. And also in the middle of this run where they're missing World Cups, pardon me, spicy meatball.
This is getting loud, like aggressively louder.
Right.
In the middle of them missing all these World Cups, they've also won a European Championship in Wembley. That was a disaster too. But this was hugely disappointing. Italy, all they had to do, unfortunately, they had to go through Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they had to play both of those countries. They did, and they lost, and they're out. Gattuso, their manager, a former legendary player for the national team.
What do you say?
Well, famously, he once said this.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be
He has resigned. That's a great descriptor for our show, too. He has resigned, but now a small window of opportunity has opened up with Iran and the state of the World Cup in doubt. FIFA is considering a 4-team playoff for one final opportunity for a team like Italy to make the World Cup.
That's
Now,
like a play-in.
It is,
It
and
is.
it's also kind of unprecedented because this situation, usually it's decided well in advance. We're just a month and a half away here, and a decision needs to be made as we're still in military operations against Iran as the host nation. So Italy has a shot here. And now there are some Italians that are like, we don't want this charity case. A lot of people concerned, like, but they're going to make fun of us if we make it. I don't think there's any shortage of people making fun of the Italian national team. They have to hire a new manager for this. But yes, I think we should all be on board with Italy making the World Cup because it would be an absolute scene.
I mean, Italy is still thought of as a world power in soccer. I know that they maybe haven't been lately, but when I think of Italian soccer, I go all the way back to Giorgio Canaglia, who was one of the stars of the early NASL in the 70s. And back then, Italy was with Brazil and Germany and all those countries that you associate with international global football. And to me, that lingers. To me, Italy to this day would be a draw in a stadium in a way that better teams would not be.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be
I thought when Mike Ryan said that about what people remember generationally about the Italian soccer team, I'm remembering us stumbling out of that motel and Baggio missing a penalty kick is what I'm remembering.
Yeah, but you old.
That's right.
By the way, Dan, really quick, an update on the wildebeest versus walrus. Go ahead, play that. Wildebeest average about 5 feet tall and 500 pounds. Male walrus is around 3,000 pounds and 9 to 12 feet tall.
Whoa!
Yeah, so I
the
think you're
walrus is bigger than the wildebeest?
by like 3 times.
What? Bonzi Wells is going to join us in a little bit here to talk about that Jailblazers documentary that's about to drop on Netflix either any day now or today. I'm not even sure. I've got to look that up. I will look that up before he comes on. But that is a documentary that a lot
Streaming
of people, thank you, That is a documentary that a lot of people have been trying to make, and we've been talking around here. It's been really interesting to watch what's happened to the documentary business as just a handful of entities are in the game now to make documentaries, and how many of them have been very quickly sanitized by, if you give us access, we'll tell your story the way that you want it told. Like, people really should be offended that the Urban Meyer Gator documentary of the Tim Tebow team ended up being some glorified celebration of all positive things with no mention of any of the terrible stuff that was not covered in any meaningful way, because in order to get Urban Meyer to sit down for that documentary, you had to tell the story exactly the way he wanted it told. I've got questions for Bonzi Wells about that Jailblazers story. How interested, Zaslow, are you in this? The Untold series has been very up and down. The Lamar Odom thing they did was good. The shooting guards thing that they did on Gilbert Arenas was good. But they've had a couple of fart noises because they've traded access for a less good story, and that Gator documentary was one of them. It was not it was an untold part of the story because no one was telling just that part of all positivity when they've got a murderer in their huddle, and the roster was getting more arrested than any in the history of sports because Urban Meyer clearly sold his soul in order to have a football team that was more violent than all the others.
I'm into this documentary because it's something that I experienced. Like, I remember the team. I remember watching the games. I think I remember how the city felt about them. I remember the way they were covered. And these are players who I watched for many years. So I like those kind of documentaries where I remember my view of it when it was happening, and I like being able to see if, I'm remembering it properly.
Is it going to follow through on its claim untold? Like, is the doc? That's my hesitation with any documentary. Is it just recycled stuff that's pretty much been reported and known, or is it something that's trailblazing in a way, no pun intended, that's going to really break news and tell us stuff we don't know?
We'll find out together, I suppose. But I'm going to, as we're a company that makes documentaries. Our next one is about Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova. I'm very excited about that one.
Me too.
I think it'll be really good by the time that it is done. But to watch the Untold series from beginning to end, and
Hollywood changed.
I recommend that all of you guys do that, is to see, and you can decide for yourself on this, whether I'd argue that Untold hits more than it misses, but you have seen the dilution in the product as Hollywood has changed.
Yeah. Building a plane in the sky. Pandemic, blah, blah, blah. Infrastructure.
Can't dispute anything you said.
Writer's strike.
Yeah. But you had me with Chris Everett and Navratilova, I'll tell you that, because that's my wheelhouse. That's when Greg Cody started following tennis big time. That's when I played a lot. On the other side, you had Connors and McEnroe. That's my wheelhouse right there. So I'm all over Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova big time. I'll be lining up to see it.
Chris, I meant to tell you, please get the Back in My Day music for any time today. He just goes in the Wayback Machine and just starts doing the old guy stuff. Do you have a Back in My Day?
It's in the incubator. It may be ready next week. Yeah, you don't want to take it out of the oven too soon. It's like making brownies. You got to have that toothpick ready. When the toothpick comes out clean, you've overbaked it. When the toothpick comes out wet, it needs more time. When the toothpick comes out with just a little bit of soft crumb on it, perfect. Same with the Back in My Day.
Zazzle, why are you looking at him that way?
So we don't.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I heard him thinking that.
No, I'm you.
That's you. Okay. That's different than me.
Okay.
That's your.
This is your voice.
That's
Is it too close?
That's your inner
It's still
monologue.
tinkering.
It is a little close.
So
yeah.
no is the answer. No is the answer. You don't have a Back in My Day.
Yeah, not at the point.
Well, it's a playoff game day for the Heat, so it's a little extra work.
I don't want to. Yes. Say Laurent. I don't want to let 50 cents.
No, you let your inner
The others, they all learn from me. But
can't play with it. He just loves it too much.
Oh, you just stay straight ahead. Try not to
Ball
interrupt.
in the jack. Driver comfort is paramount.
Okay.
I'm fuller than Vern Fuller.
I'm almost embarrassed at how easy that is. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just tickling him with his own catchphrases.
Oh, but this is look.
In a very slightly different voice.
Okay, do me a favor. Do you have give him Zaz run Mike?
Yeah, I'll do the list.
Give him the 50 so that he can just interrupt Greg as
Can you
he's
give
talking.
me fanfare as I do it? I always think that is kind of missing a missing element there.
You will, but you will end up feeling really good about the fact that Greg Cody is tickled by nothing more than his own narcissism. So when you're sitting there celebrating him by uttering his catchphrases, I'd argue that at this point in his life, that's something that feels better to him than sex.
I'm ready.
For sex?
No. I mean, always, baby.
Where will that be?
Where's
50.
my click? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Number 50.
I'm fuller than Vern Fuller.
49.
Where's my click?
48.
Hey, Butterfinger.
47.
1.
46. 45.
I'm busier than a one-armed paper hanger.
Pardon me.
44.
Georgia.
43.
I'm the kind of guy that
42.
ball in the jack.
41.
Hey, we're the monkeys, baby.
40.
Also can accept hey, we're the hey-hays.
40.
Thank you, Billy.
39.
I love them like a pet.
38.
Who made it a salad?
37.
We're rolling now, huh?
36.
Your brain beating me.
35.
Let's go, States.
34.
Driver comfort is paramount.
33.
Dummy up, save up.
32.
Catch as catch can.
31.
Don't make it right.
30.
So on and so forth.
29.
Thank God.
28.
The Little League theory.
27.
Nice hat, asshole.
26.
The others, they'll all learn from me.
25.
Don't go showering to try to please me.
24.
Look at that jerk.
23.
It's like a packing house in here. Hams hanging from hooks.
22.
What'd you learn?
21.
Hee-haw 3. 1, 2. Madeo.
Check out the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where he unveils 2 new catchphrases every week. We are now in the top 20. Yesterday on the show, Amin El-Hassan came on and he was making fun of Tyrese Halliburton and the idea that he has done the opposite of the rehab schedule of Jason Tatum, who got back quickly. One of the most interesting things about the last couple of years of the playoffs and the randomness of threes and it being slightly less predictable than it used to be is you've had Dallas and Indiana in the finals when they're 4 and 5 seeds, and that's pretty unusual, like for 4 and 5 seeds to get all the way there. And Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. And Indiana was terrible this year. They couldn't do much of anything. And he now has shingles as well. Shingles are stress-related most often, are they not? Certainly in old people, shingles. Jeremy, if you could look up for me, I associate shingles with stress.
I know my dad got it when he was older and he caught chicken pox and it turned into shingles. Like that can happen when you acquire that.
It's the same virus, yeah.
Yeah, it's a virus that gives you chicken pox.
But is it also linked to stress, or am I making that up?
stress weakens the immune system, thus making you more susceptible to shingles, but no, stress is not directly related.
But it can be a trigger.
So let's listen to Tyrese Halliburton talk about what it is that he is feeling as he's lost an eyebrow.
Yeah, I've lost like part of my eyebrow. My eye is always like swollen from itching it. I have good days and bad days, but for the most part, it's bad days. So it has not been any fun. I'm still honestly dealing with it. I've been taking, unbelievable amounts of medication to try to get rid of it. It hasn't worked. It's obviously caused me to like gain weight and look a little bigger, and so that's been a topic of conversation through social media and stuff. But what can you do? But yeah, no, it's not been fun, and hopefully it goes away here pretty soon. Just it's hard to really tell, like nerve pain. Like I've been having nerve pain now for 2 months, and in the world of nerve pain for people who've had that before, it's not very long. So I hope it goes away soon, but there's no way to really know.
Well, that made me sad. I always thought shingles was one of these things we could have fun with.
We have a family friend who had shingles, and she was debilitated, bedridden.
It can be very serious when you're older.
Yeah, and it can be very, very mild, but if it hits you hard, it puts you in bed, and you're out of commission for several days, maybe weeks. And there's a vaccine for it. I used to think of shingles as the old-timey disease that was from the 50s or 60s or something, but it's a current thing.
It's not.
Can you look up for me, please, Jeremy, the antidotes for shingles? Because I didn't think there was medication for that. I thought that shingles was something that either went away or it didn't, and that you weren't going to get a whole lot of help from medication. So when I hear that he's being medicated severely, I thought that shingles, you just sort of, when you get chicken pox, you get chicken pox. Like you're not getting around chicken pox. And I thought that shingles was similar here. When he says he's taking an unbelievable amount of medication, I just didn't think there was such a thing that helped very much.
It could just be for the pain, because apparently, along with the rash, of course, which you also have with chicken pox, like it could affect your nerves, I think.
It's hugely painful.
So
it's
I think
one of the
maybe
more
it's for
painful
the
things.
pain.
It can be one of the more painful ailments you can suffer through. It's really bad.
You guys are right on that end. So there are a few different medications that sometimes are prescribed to help speed up healing or lower risk of deeper complications. But really, the primary things that are assigned according to the Mayo Clinic are just different pain medications. And obviously the different pain medications, depending on what it is that the NBA player drug agreement is as well, is going to affect different things for Tyrese Halliburton.
Please put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Which animal is larger, walrus or wildebeest?
Are you confused with wildebeest and like a wild boar?
I think wildebeest is like one of those boring zoo animals.
You remember that scene where Simba almost gets trampled? That's all wildebeest.
Like skinny horses.
Are you thinking like a water buffalo?
Which a walrus is still bigger than all of those animals, by the way, by several times.
Well, but it can't be bigger than a water buffalo.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Looks like a big hog.
We're like a dog with a bone on
That
this
is
one.
a boar, Greg Cody, and it's not on the screen that anyone but you is watching. You're pointing at a screen that wasn't on our television.
A robot chasing a boar.
Sentence you thought you'd never say, huh?
Exactly.
Yes, I was thinking the wildebeest was larger, and I would obviously. And while I don't think it's a water buffalo, I also don't think anybody would answer the question that a walrus is bigger than a water buffalo.
By the stats that I'm looking at here, water buffaloes are 8 to 10 feet in body length and weighing about 1,500 to 2,600 pounds, which is about, a walrus is about 25 to 3,700 pounds and about 9 to 12 feet tall.
Scan the room.
There's me as a walrus.
Once
Look
again,
for the weak one.
People can't see it. Now they can.
Identify someone that can have our back. Jeremy. He's yearning for our approval.
Do we have another angle of Greg as the walrus? I like the other one better.
Hey, I resemble that
That's
remark.
the one I like the best.
And I resemble that remark joke. What are you?
That's good.
You're a
I like that.
90-year-old comedian.
No, that was good.
You know what? I don't want your approval anymore.
Yes, he does.
It's true. You got my inner monologue there.
A couple
Dan
of
as a
things
walrus.
that I wanted to get to with you guys here as it relates to what it is that Mark Stein is writing.
It's a strange shirt.
Aggressive nipples from Dan the Walrus here.
There's a growing anticipation from Mark Stein that I'd just like for you guys to exclude the audio audience slightly less than that, just slightly less than that, because it's a pretty big audience, and I'd like to not exclude them quite that much.
Sure. Sorry.
The growing anticipation from Mark Stein that Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Giannis are probably going to be on different teams next season, right? All three of them are likely. I just saw on the screen in here, Perkins is saying a couple of crazy things as he does. He says that Kevin Durant is not a top 10 player of all time.
That's not crazy.
Yet. No, it was the yet. It was the next word. I wasn't finished saying it.
I got excited.
As if he could do something here the rest of the way that would make him a top 10 player now. But he also said, and this part is crazier, that if LeBron wins this series against the Rockets, the GOAT conversation is over. That if he wins this series against the Houston Rockets, he's better than Michael Jordan. That this is the one that would take him over the top. It would be really impressive. Luka is back in the country, and I don't know if he's expected back at any point in this series, but you have a chance for a really great Game 1 story of LeBron versus the Rockets without Austin Reeves and without Luka Doncic, or you have the possibility of all of you who watched that Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson exhibition saying to yourself, why did I buy this Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson exhibition? Because Houston's defense, I think, is uniquely qualified to bother this version of LeBron. It's just young and fast and
big
and long and big. And what are you shaking your head about?
I don't think the Lakers win a game. I think it's 4-0 Houston.
You're just sticking to you said it a few months ago. We're sticking with it.
Yeah, I'm going to be right. Whatever.
You don't think a game?
I don't think the Lakers win a game this series. I said that a couple months ago. I felt good about it. Then I was looking stupid because the Lakers were playing really great. And then Luka and Austin Reeves get hurt, and now I'm looking like I'm going to be right again. Sticking to it. Not a game.
I'm surprised that the whole GOAT conversation between Michael and LeBron comes down to a first-round 4 versus 5 series. Like, why is that the tipping point for who's the greatest
Because it's
ever?
Kendrick Perkins.
Okay, good answer. It just seems like weird to say, all right, now, if he wins a first-round series, he's the greatest ever.
What do you guys do, though, with the overall of Kendrick Perkins exists to say that thing? Gilbert Arenas exists to say that thing.
Dan, you said the exact same thing that Perk said. You said it yesterday prior to Perk saying it. Unless you took it from Perk.
I did not. I absolutely did not say that if LeBron won this series, he'd be better than Michael Jordan.
I'm pretty sure you said something very close to that.
I promise you, you will find no record of me saying anything close to that. I did say it was.
I'm going to look for that.
No, I said greatest achievement of his career is what I did say. I said that it would be, if as the oldest player in the league without Luka and Doncic, he wins a series against the Houston Rockets, I believe it will be the most impressive thing that he has done as the oldest player in the league.
He did say that.
Not better than Michael Jordan.
Oh.
You're on your way, though. You said greatest.
But if he does the most impressive thing in his storied career,
would be better than Michael Jordan doing it.
I did not invoke the name of Michael Jordan in any way.
Say it.
Say what Kendrick Perkins said?
Yes.
Own it. I want to talk to you guys about both the possibility I just mentioned before you started putting me on the screen as a walrus. Mark Stein saying those three guys are likely to be in a different uniform next season, correct?
I actually said it on ESPN Radio yesterday afternoon that I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be traded.
It would make sense.
It would. I mean, I don't think that's astounding to hear. I mean, Giannis is all over the map when it comes to what he says, but I think it's pretty clear he's going to be traded, right?
But LeBron.
I don't see it anymore. I can't see LeBron playing somewhere outside of LA.
He has now played in Los Angeles longer than he's played anywhere else.
Yep. In one sitting, in one stretch, yeah. I can't see him going anywhere else at this point in his career. Especially because it wasn't that long ago it seemed like neither one of them wanted to be together anymore. But based on the way that he has settled into this role as like the third guy on the team, if you're the Lakers, you wouldn't want to have LeBron as your third guy?
Absolutely.
I understand you want him as your first or probably not even your second, but if LeBron's good with being the third guy, that's not good for the Lakers.
LeBron is a good third guy, but LeBron is going to be 42, and if you're the Lakers, you're probably thinking, we can get a younger third guy. You know, that
dude, LeBron's been playing great, though.
I know
Mike.
he's been playing great, but is this the plan? One more year with LeBron potentially? Maybe you can squeeze out 2 more years with LeBron.
Yeah,
there has to be some foresight here.
Greg, where are you on your draft coverage, draft preparation? The NFL draft is in a couple of weeks. We will be doing a live stream our way during the NFL draft. How many exactos? You have been better than Mel Kiper most years at picking the right team and the right player to the right team. Those are called exactos.
Yep. Zagacki.
What are the others called? There's an exacto and there's another one. There's what are the names of these?
The
Zagacto.
The exacto's the big one.
Yeah, but it's a Zagacto.
You don't remember your sayings.
What I can
This
tell
is
he
what's
didn't know.
happening here, right? You don't remember what your sayings are. The draft is in 2 weeks, and I'm asking you what prep you've done, and you don't remember what your sayings are.
He is. You are brain beating me. The exacto is the right player to the right team, no matter where. Like the Dolphins pick 11th and 30th. If I get one of those two right, it's to the right team. It's an exacto. A Zagacto is the exact player to the exact team in the precise order.
How many of those do you normally nail?
Most exact.
Ask him what he said. He's insecure about that stuff.
Most exactos
Counterpunch.
are Zagactos. Most exactos are Zagactos.
Are you scared to speak now, Zaz? Are there times that you are scared to speak? Like I felt you sort of retreat.
Look at that hat.
I felt you. I felt you retreat as you sort of slurred your way through the middle of that sentence.
I was talking normal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's not lost on me that he's wearing a hat that has his one saying on it to
I
kind
have
of usurp
a
my
lot
cat
more than
to
one
usurp
saying.
How
my
many do you have?
catchphrase countdown.
I got a lot. Take that as bad news for the blank. Yeah!
That is-
High food. Weapons. We got a lot.
See?
That's Samson's inner monologue. That's not Zaz's
I
inner
got like
monologue.
8 options over here, man. Your brain beating me. Wait a second.
Your brain beating him.
I don't think you guys realize how passive-aggressive Greg, on a day where we've gone to his top 50 list twice and only gotten halfway through it and aren't yet at the top 20, saying to Zaz, whose cap is backward, your one saying is on your hat. I see. He was saying, I've got 50 of them, and they fall off of me easily. You've got one.
Like, how self-involved is Greg that you essentially just claimed that I choose my clothing in the morning based on you.
Well, in this case, I mean, come on.
Big Cody is your boy.
I'm in the middle of my award-winning top 50 catchphrase countdown, and you have your catchphrase
The
literally
Lord's time
in my
zone.
face.
I spent no time thinking about your catchphrase when I was at home.
That's what they all say.
It does look like you spend no time thinking about getting dressed.
Yeah,
The
I would
others,
agree
they
with
all learn from me.
Good outfit today. Got my Bret Hitman Hart shirt. What are you talking about?
Dress myself up like a big boy.
We have reached a new normal in the aging of athletes, so that Ovechkin had a hat trick a couple of days ago, and I'm like, how is it possible that these people are playing into their 40s successfully? How is it possible that the oldest player in basketball is LeBron James, and he's still routinely putting up triple doubles? They're all 7 and 8 years. They've changed. The pharmacy And the science of this has changed aging by like
It really makes you think.
8 years in sports.
What could be the reason?
Yeah, it does make you think.
All these athletes doing unprecedented things at older ages. Say it. Say the thing.
Is that where you guys...
This is not... There we go. It's me now. Dan, have the courage. We've danced around it. We've tried to make other people say it.
Just say it.
Ovechkin is on steroids.
Oh, yeah, no, wait. We're going to have to apologize. Ask the question. Let's do this responsibly. Jump the gun a little bit, but it's okay.
I regret saying flatly that Ovechkin is on steroids.
Yeah,
but if he's doing stuff in hockey that you haven't seen from anybody other than Jaromir Jagr, is it fair to question that an unprecedented athlete might be doing things that are unnatural?
Yeah. All right. Have you seen the photos of Fernando Mendoza? He's gotten really big. I mean,
Wow.
You're a Canes guy. Deep down in here. I mean, he's pretty huge. Let's go. Let's ride the hot streak.
I don't think I want a huge quarterback. I don't want a quarterback that's. I mean, how many of the quarterbacks do you look at and say, that guy has been in the weight room? Like Lamar Jackson is somebody that I want to do that with, but Josh Allen is somebody based. But it's not. You don't think of Josh Allen as. You just think of him as physically impressive from the get-go. You don't think that he's put on a bunch of weight while he's been in the league.
I know he's a linebacker though. When he's running with the ball, he's a linebacker.
I had a debate with a friend about this who actually had the very same take. Do you even want a ripped quarterback? Are they good? Peyton Manning had an 8-pack, and people didn't know.
He had the V?
Peyton Manning hadn't. Look up Peyton Manning
I got
abs.
Peyton Manning V.
It'll change
No way.
your entire opinion of what kind of athletes these guys are. Because we just saw him like doing the stiff like play action. Yeah, it's insane. Now, he did have something in the news.
Well, that was sent from his wife, and that was Al Jazeera's reporting.
Huh.
But these guys have sleeper bodies. Peyton Manning, I mean, it's
I thought you meant in college. This was like last year.
No, he had abs. Like, there's a photo of him at Tennessee shirtless, and you're like, my God, Pa.
Troy Aikman looks in his 50s like he better than he did in his 20s. And while that is indeed fit, what you guys are telling me about Mendoza is that he's put on weight, that he's put on thickness.
He put on so much weight from Cal to Indiana. There were reporters that, after they won the championship, were standing next to Mendoza. Man, I didn't know if he got it like that. And he played a very strong physical game there, going up against Miami's DNs. Like, we put a lot of shots on him, and his body withstood it. People don't talk about his physique and the transformation that he made. It's a big time reason why he leveled up.
People also don't talk about the Tarasis of the world and the Serena Williams of the world and these Ovechkins of the world playing into their 40s the way that they are. It doesn't make sense that LeBron James is the oldest player in the league and that body isn't broken. It's got a ton of miles on it. Like, that's not a normal human body. Steph is younger and can't get on the court. Like, it's weird. It's in the history of human evolution, you just don't have the ability to play into your 40s. And then Brady's the greatest example of all, where I'm assuming that most of you listening to this don't think it's absurd that Brady could come in for the right team next year and be a functional quarterback at 49.
I think it's kind of crazy.
I mean, he was doing it at 45. Did he win a title at 43? Did he win that Bucks title at 43 years old? Like, you say it's kind of crazy, but what's crazier? Tom Brady playing A down in the league, or doing what Joe Flacco did last year, or doing what Phillip Rivers did last year? What's crazier, Tom Brady doing that for a game, or winning the whole championship in his 40s?
I guess for me, it's because that guy Joe Flacco hasn't stopped. Like Brady having stopped for several years at this point, I don't think he can jump back in.
I get why it is you would question that. It's not absurd, but the only player I could say it about and not make it absurd is this one. Mm-hmm. It's legitimately the only one in the history of the sport that I could say it about because the way that he has cared for his body makes him in that sport an unprecedented human being.
Brady was 43 and 188 days old when he won Super Bowl with the Bucs.
Man, I'm 45.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Brady did talk about maybe wanting to come out of retirement and play another season, but the NFL basically told him you need to divest of your part ownership, and he said, maybe not.
But when we're talking about how these athletes play well into their 40s, tennis also, that was a sport famously where you hit 30, you're kind of done. And guys started pushing that limit. Women started pushing that limit. Messi, Ronaldo, even though he's trailing back some now. And we're talking about all-time greats. LeBron James, all-time great. In the NFL, we keep mentioning Tom Brady as a gold standard. He won a Super Bowl at 43. But we see other all-time great quarterbacks hit a wall when they're approaching that 40 number. Drew Brees totally fell off a cliff. Aaron Rodgers fell off. We should put a little respect on the name, too, and realize that we're talking about all-time greats here.
Roethlisberger.
Yeah, they all look like that's what aging looks like. And Brady, a lot was made of his doctor and pliability, and that's probably a reason for their success. But also, these are Mount Rushmore all-time athletes in terms of success in their sport.
We talk about Kirk Cousins and his ability or not ability. He's 37, right? We talked about the Achilles. We talked about him falling off a cliff, his arm not being the same anymore. And Brady won how many Super Bowls after 37?
I got to tell you, that I can understand it with these guys. The one that totally threw me is what Phillip Rivers did, which was one of the most astonishing things I've ever seen in all of sports. He went to Seattle, and he looked like the best quarterback that was on that team. Just hopped in, not a body guy, clearly, and to be able to do that with zero prep.
Well,
he
couldn't
Super
throw.
Bowl.
He couldn't. It really was all about his mind.
Yes, but that was still super impressive. You're telling me he couldn't throw. He played quarterback effectively.
Yeah.
That was a good game against the eventual Super Bowl champions.
But when you say all-time greats, because you're not wrong about that, but there have been a lot of all-time greats before that, and only recently do they get into their 40s being able to play. There have been many, many all-time greats, and we don't have the proliferation. This is a celebration of science more than it is of all-time greats.
Yeah, 100%. It's about taking care of your body. Back in the day, you used to smoke cigarettes in the locker room.
I hear you, but we're not talking about, they're in this class of all-time great. With Brady, Serena, and LeBron James, and Messi, we're not talking about perhaps they're the greatest. There are strong arguments to be made with these four in particular. No, they're simply the greatest.
But most of us did see Michael Jordan with the Wizards, and it was all jump shots and his body's broken, and that was in his late 30s.
But I think that's where the celebration of science comes into play. I would imagine that it's because of medicine. That
all right, so put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. More athletes in their 40s, pliability or liability? Because I'm just asking the question.
Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Roy, what do we got?
Penguins at Blues tonight. You can expect the Penguins to rest their stars as they go up to St. Louis because they have their playoff matchup already. So go with the Blues. They are favorites at home by a goal and a half against the Spread.
We're going to the second biggest fake playoff game of the evening. The Miami Heat are taking on the Charlotte Hornets. We're going to take the Miami Heat plus 5.5. Khalil Ware, Bam Adebayo. Yeah, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet the Heat so that Charlotte wins. That's what I'm doing against the spread. So give me 5.5 for the Heatles tonight against Buzz City.
You're a bad fan.
Not a fan.
Surprised.
Yes, you are.
Surprised he mentioned Ovechkin without mentioning that it could be his final time playing in the NHL. There's a whole bunch of mystery around this. Emily Kaplan wrote on it. They don't know. They did when they played the Pens. They made a big deal of the face-off photo. It was cool, with Crosby next to him. It kind of had those vibes.
But then they wanted to shake his hand after the game, and he was like, "No, this isn't necessary."
Yeah, it's weird. It's mixed messages for sure.
Yeah.
There is a theory that Ovechkin's not going to retire in the NHL. He's going to go to Russia and play in the KHL.
Do what
to finish his
Jaromir
career.
Jagr did, just play
Still
until
doing.
he's 50 years old?
Yeah, still doing. When we're talking about all-time greats, still doing their thing. Jagr.
Think Jagr could still play in the NHL?
No. I mean, the NHL kind of but he had a miraculous all-star season at an age that we're not used to seeing.
Wasn't he 47? Like, what was the
his all-star season with the Panthers?
What was the ridiculous all-star season age of Jaromir Jagr, who oftentimes people would end up watching at the facility? He's there at midnight.
He's always been a body guy, too.
Skating.
His last year in the league was 45.
45 years old. Was that his all-star season, or was that?
No.
No, I think he was like 2-3 years removed.
He was an all-star at 43.
So he was an all-star at 43. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl at 43.
What we're talking about is why Nick Wright is allowed to say with a straight face LeBron James can still be an all-star at age 50. Because while preposterous on one level, it's no longer out of the question with all-time greats like that who take care of their bodies. Look at what he's doing now. I don't know his stats, but he's having a great season. Again, he's relentless.
If you want the theory of Alexander Ovechkin chasing 1,000 goals, he is 71 goals away. So
Jagr is still playing at 54.
Did you guys get moved at all last night with Jonathan Quick and the Rangers shaking hands with Panthers who were coming over, some of them in dress clothes, getting on the ice to just respect a champion the way that you'd want the punctuation on your career to be if you were the Rangers goaltender who had won a champion? Florida does not like the Rangers, but they extended him this respect because they understood that they were dealing with a champion goaltender.
I felt bad for Jonathan Quick in that he's certainly appreciated in hockey circles. That's a name, considering where he won his championships and the performances he had. He was in this weird time where ESPN wasn't talking about it, the NHL. The NHL was battling, trying to win fans back from multiple lockouts, and he really dominated as this sport tried to get traction back into the mainstream, because at that point, people were thinking about it as like, it's really 3.5 majors. So I'm glad he got that moment.
Zaz yawned, and Greg started looking at his blog and internet podcast
Pod
numbers. He stopped listening to you at all.
As a matter of fact, I was...
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.